The following video is to help students and parents verify that their iPad is properly set up for Cathedral High School. In this video, we're going to cover the following subject material: enabling iCloud for storage and backups, enabling Find My iPad, configure Notability to use iCloud and Google Drive for backups, turn off app notifications, verifying FileWave app is installed, and the last I'll briefly describe on how parents can enable parental controls in the iPad. Let's get started with enabling iCloud storage for backups. The first thing you want to do is go into Settings on the iPad. In the upper left-hand corner, you're going to click on the profile name. This is going to be the Apple ID. And in the middle, you will notice it'll say iCloud. Click on iCloud. In the upper right-hand corner, you will see that the Apple iPad is using iCloud for a storage location of data files, pictures. It just is an online depository of where it's at. You notice that it's 50 gigs. If I click on Manage Storage, there's an option. You could go to Storage Plan. You can upgrade. Instead of using the default 5 gigabyte storage that is allowed for iCloud, you can upgrade it to 50 gigs or 200. I would recommend a minimum of 50 if your child also has an iPhone and they're using the same account for both devices, their iPad and their iPhone. 50 may be a good start, but they may need to go up to a 200, especially if they have a lot of pictures and videos that they want to have backed up. Okay. And then also within iCloud, as I back up, I'm going to scroll down until I see iCloud Backup. I'm going to click on iCloud Backup, and I want to make sure that iCloud Backup is enabled at this point. You'll also see below it, it'll say when its last successful backup was. So we want to make sure that the iPad is getting a periodic backup, usually on an everyday basis. That way that your child doesn't actually lose any of their information. The next thing we want to cover is making sure that Find My iPad is enabled. Still within iCloud, when you scroll down, you will see Find My iPad. Click on Find My iPad, and you want to make sure that both of these settings are enabled. The Find My iPad is enabled, as well as Send Last Location. That one by default is actually turned off. We want to turn that on because in case the iPad were to lose power or lose battery, it will report to iCloud what is its last known location that was connected to Wi-Fi. And then when you log into iCloud, you'll be able to actually see, hey, this is the last spot. It could be at my house, or it could be in a classroom, or maybe in one of the gyms. The next thing we're going to do is verify that Notability is actually configured to use iCloud for storage and Google Drive. Find the Notability app, which is right here with the pencil. In the lower left-hand corner, you're going to see a gear. Click on the gear, and then you're going to click on iCloud. Notice that iCloud is enabled. What this does is any notes that are stored in Notability on the iPad will store a copy of the notes within iCloud. The great feature of this is if your child were to get their iPad replaced, when they enable iCloud for Notability, all of the notes that are stored on iCloud will then come back down to the iPad. Therefore, the student will never lose any of their notes. A third option to enable backups. So in one, you have the student will have a copy on the iPad, and then they have a copy in Notability, but they also could have a copy within Google Drive. By clicking Auto Backup, and you notice that I have Google Drive enabled by it being highlighted, I could click on the gear, and within Google Drive, there is a subfolder now of Notability. This will allow the students to go to their Google Drive, go to the Notability subfolder, and access their notes without having to have their iPad. So this is a great resource if they ever need to get to their notes and they just happen to forget their iPad at a different location or at their house. The next thing we want to do is make sure that app notifications are disabled. So click on Settings again, and then scroll on the left-hand side until you see Notifications. Here is where any apps that are installed, by default, they will provide pop-ups that will show on the screen when a notice comes in. For example, an iMessage pop-up, or if students have Snapchat or Instagram. Anytime there's a new update to the app or a new notification, it is constantly showing a pop-up on the screen. We'd like to have this disabled or turned off. So we recommend that when you find the app, in this case, I'm going to click on Weather, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off notifications by simply just turning it off. And I'm going to do this for every app that I don't want a notification on. So anything that is a entertainment app, whether it's social or a gaming app, I would recommend you shut off notifications. One thing to note, just because you shut off a notification does not stop the actual notification from going to the app. It just prevents the pop-up from showing on the screen. So the students don't lose their notification of what's happening. They just aren't distracted by these constant messages of whether it's Instagram, Snapchat, or iMessage or anything else. It keeps them focused within the classroom. If you have games, again, shut them off. App Store for calendars, I do recommend if it's a school or educated app, I would leave that on. FaceTime, shut off. Games, of course, shut off. Home, shut off. Mail, I would leave on. Maps are fine. Messages, that's going to be iMessage. I would shut that off. Music, we're going to shut it off. Pandora, again, shut off. Photos, you could shut off. Pinterest, of course. And then that's it. The last thing we're going to do is we need to verify that FileWave is installed properly. And this is the app that allows Cathedral High School to push configurations and profiles to their iPad. This is very important, specifically when they're doing I-step testing or some type of state testing. We could verify that they have the right version of the software as well as the app. You're going to look for a red app called the App Portal, and you could click on it. Once you click on it, you will see that the app will show basically our Cathedral apps. That's the first step to verify that the app is installed. The last one is you click on settings, and then you're going to click on general. Scroll down till you see device management. In here, you should see FileWave MDM configuration. That's the only thing that should be listed. If there's any other configuration listed in this section, you need to click on it and remove it. Sometimes games like to put on configuration management on there, and there shouldn't be on there. So the only thing that should be listed on there is just FileWave, and that's for the protection of you, your child, and their iPad. The last thing I'm going to cover is some parents sometimes have a question in regards to parent restrictions. I have a link located here for more information, but realistically, I would recommend that you contact us so we could help you through that. On this page is going to be our direct contacts for my email address as well as my teams and specific subpages that if you need any help with technology, you could go to these links. Thank you very much.